Decided before it got started. Anyway, congratulations, Scotty Scheffler won the PGA and he won the weekend. Next game is called Fill in the Blank. Hey, Alan Hahn, complete this sentence. The Celtics title window is blank.
Closed for this iteration. Remember that they have what they're facing, $500 million in luxury tax bills. Being a repeater team, they're going to have to make some moves on that roster, and they're going to have to make some big ones. Tatum Brown, no, but some other important players, yes.
All right, next one, Marcus Morris. Here's the one for you. The Timberwolves will beat the Thunder if what?
Julius Randle continue to play at the level he's playing at. 23-6-6 so far through this playoffs, and I said it before when they went up against the Lakers. If he can play at an all-star level, they have a chance to get to the finals.
I tell you what, if he winds up against the Knicks in the finals,
let's freaking go.
That'll be something. But McNutt, let me finish this with you.
All right, what we got?
The Knicks will beat the Pacers if what?
They control the pace. And by that, I mean, obviously the Pacers like to play fast. And I don't mean that the Knicks have to play particularly slow, but they have to dictate the pace. They have to get out in transition on their own terms. They have to play with pace and tempo in the half court, and they have to be able to be prepared to defend the pace that the Pacers want to play at.
You just not ironically said the key against the Pacers is the pace, which is fascinating. Here's a note. Are you ready for this? Here we go. No matter who wins the championship, and you see at the top of your screen the 4 teams left with a chance, we are guaranteed to have 7 different teams win the championship in the last 7 seasons. There has never been, in the history of the NBA, a 7-season span in which 7 different franchises won the championship. So I'm going to open this up to the group. Alan, you follow this stuff, you write all that kind of stuff. What does this mean? The fact that we have not had a repeat champion in this long, what does it mean?
Well, first of all, it's about team building, I think, because when you think about the dynasty eras, the MVPs of the league were normally on those dynasty teams. For the most part, Tim Duncan had multiples. Obviously, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, LeBron James.
Tim Duncan.
They were running the league. What we've had over the last couple of years, Jokic has won 3 MVPs. He's been to 1 finals. He has 1 ring, but he's been to 1 finals. Giannis, two MVPs, 1 finals. Did get a ring, but that's it. James Harden. Need I say more? Joel Embiid can't get out of the second round. Like, to me, well, because I thought it was implied. I thought you guys would all just nod. Everybody stared at me. But the point is that the best players in the league are not on the best teams in the league, and that's about team building. Is that you aren't able to build super teams? No, the Clippers tried. They have James Harden, Paul George. They put a lot of money into that. The Bucks tried it with Damian Lillard, bringing in a superstar. It didn't work. So in certain places, it's not working like it used to work. But I just think it's as simply as this. The best players in the league right now are not on the best teams or most dominant teams that are getting to finals.
They also have changed around a lot of rules. For some reason, we tend to be, as a sports collective, very hesitant to give credit to the commissioners of the leagues and the people making the decisions in the league offices. I'm old enough to remember doing talk shows at a time when we said baseball will never have parity because of the financial. Well, in the meantime, they haven't had a repeat champ in 25 years. And here we are with basketball. I remember sitting on this show, I was already here by the time Kevin Durant got to Golden State. And we were worried that was going to ruin the sport. And you know what they did? They changed the rules. Yeah. We're sitting here talking about all the different financial ways that they dissuade players from coming together and all of that because they want everyone to have a chance. And it's working. That's what I say. I say the fact that these different teams are winning means it is working. Why do you look like you disagree?
In some ways, right? Like, you got to look at it. It's in the playoffs, if we look at the last few years, it's always been a significant injury, right?
That's
as well. Yeah. Like you look at, let's just say the Brooklyn, for instance, with Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant.
Right.
If Kyrie don't go down right there, is that a different look, right? Do they actually win the championship? Jason Tatum in this year, right? I think it's a mixture of teams with all these guys actually staying healthy when it counts, right? Because you have like we talked about asterisks, which I don't agree with at all. But the reason we're having these conversations is because of injuries to significant players.
What do you think?
Do you feel like it's just because we're witnessing, and I think we should appreciate the end of an era? right, with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron James. And that means the door is more open, whereas their dominance permeated over a decade for so long, it's shifting and changing. On top of, speaking of the different incentives to build stars.
Though.
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes, yes, but I'm just saying they're all 35, 36, 37, upwards of 40. Now, the dominance they had at the late 20s to 35, it's a little different. And on top
but we're not seeing the new stars joining forces like those guys did in that era.
But the new stars are building. That leads to my second point. You have the Victor Wembanyama's. You saw what Cade did in Detroit. You see what Tyrese Halliburton is doing. You see Ant Edwards. You think about Paolo Banchero. Like, the game is evolving for these young players to be dominant at a time where the older players are trying to hold on.
Well, the question, I guess, becomes which team will be the next team to actually repeat, and maybe better put, to your point, which star will be the next one to lead his team to multiple championships. I'm sorry, but I'm incredibly distracted. Can you bring Markeith over here for a minute? I cannot sit here and have
be like the really shortest one
in the room.
Bring your brother to work day. Bring your brother to work day.
All right, one big question for you. There's 4 teams left in the NBA that could win the right? Knicks, Pacers, Thunder, Timberwolves. Who's going to win the whole thing?
I think my brother said it earlier when he said my brother's in the back and he's not going to like my question. But I told you, what did I told you? If the OKC Thunder make it to the Western Conference Final, what was going to happen? He said he like OKC. He's going with the bookies and I'm actually going with defense. I'm a defensive guy. OKC has the best defense in the playoffs, the best defense during the regular season. That's who I'm locking in with.
Let the record show he's not going with the bookies officially. Want to continue to play or anything like that. We'll have none of that going on whatsoever. But what he's talking about is the fact that the Thunder are odds-on favorites to win the championship at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook, which surprises me. You see they are a significant favorite, followed in order by the Knicks, the Timberwolves, and the Pacers. Great to have both you guys
2 for
here.
1, baby.
Thank you for being here. And as we roll on, First Take is getting ready to roll there in the bullpen. Stephen A. is going to be 14 points on Saturday as New York poised for a repeat.
They absolutely are. Look, they were a team that last year was known for their offense. They added Natasha Cloud, and boy, oh boy, what a debut in Barclays. Now they have a dog, and now they have also one of the best defensive teams. You've got JJ at 6'6", Stewie at 6'4", you got Fevish at 6'4", then you got the dog picking up the ball. What a great debut on ring night for the Liberty.
Monica, is that the team to beat?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. They only got better. Like, literally the observation of who won the offseason is between Indiana or New York. And I think based on both debuts, particularly in New York, Natasha Cloud put her foot on that organization already.
Speaking of debuts, Kelsey Plum made hers with the Sparks. She had 37 points on Friday and 18 last night. Shanae, what did we see from Kelsey Plum?
Oh, she said, I can do bad all by myself, dropping 37, the most we've seen. I think it was the first 35-5-5 game that we have seen also in the WNBA.
Okay, Plum Dog.
Plum Dog, taking them all to school, money.
Absolutely. Look, we know that she's a prolific scorer, that she has a different role now in LA, an organization that's trying to get back into contention, having already won multiple rings with the Las Vegas Aces.
And then finally, Caitlin Clark with a triple-double on Saturday, the third of her WNBA career. She's one of just 4 players to reach that mark in league history, and it's the opener of her second season. What did you see from her on Saturday, Chanae?
So at first I was like, let me slow my roll when she's a favorite for MVP, but then after one game, it was like, I'm on the train because now she has multiple weapons so she can cook. Triple-double again, and you think about DeWanna Bonner also making history, going to number 3 all-time in WNBA points. So much history, the biggest opener. Like, this is a team to contend with.
She had a triple-double, and I would say that the Fever didn't even play that well. You mentioned DeWanna Bonner, which is a huge acquisition. I think she got to 10 points.
7, I think.
I don't even know if she got to 10. But she didn't even really have a game yet. You wait till the 2 of them start cooking. The Fever are legitimately going to contend.
Boston did too. Like, they got posts, they got guards. Watch out.
Caitlin Clark, again, last year was one of the more unusual seasons in WNBA history. Not only do all the players come right off the collegiate experience, but then it was all jam-packed together because of the Olympics and everything else. We may see a completely different player in Caitlin Clark this season, as great as she was last year. As we continue, Boston bounced. Does that mean NBA dynasties are done? We have a stat that suggests the answer is yes.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Và video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ đi tô màu, và những bức tranh của mình tô màu sẽ chắc chắn rất chi là đẹp. Mình sẽ tô rất chi là nhiều những con vật này, mà chủ yếu của mình sẽ tô là con vật rất chi là nhiều. Đấy, đây các bạn hãy xem những con vật của mình. Đây là những sản phẩm của mình tô màu này. Và để tô màu được những sản phẩm tuyệt đẹp gửi tặng đến tất cả các bạn thì không thể nào thiếu được hộp sáp màu. Đây là hộp sáp màu của mình này, mình đã chuẩn bị từ trước rồi. Những màu sắc thật sự là đẹp. Đây các bạn này. Và bây giờ các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô màu sản phẩm nha.
Mình làm chi tiết cho các bạn.
Em lì xì nhiều hơn. Mọi người và mọi người hoàn thành rồi, video của mình đến đây là kết thúc nhé. Chào em xem chụp một bộ ảnh. Happy birthday to you. Người ta gọi là không bạc đấy. Ở đâu?
Đồ em chụp ảnh, tên Dương chụp ảnh, tên ơn chụp ảnh, tên gì chụp ảnh.
Tên Dương có chụp ảnh đâu? Tên Dương sáng lại.
Thảo nào bây giờ cái gì nữa? Cho thuê quảng, thuê áo, thuê váy.
Chào em chưa là bọn mình nói đi thuê thôi, em chưa là em đi thuê rồi.
Không có sai đâu.
Gì? Em chỉ mặc size M thôi.
Nhưng mà bây giờ thuê đấy kiếm mà.
Nhiều lắm. Nhiều tiền quá. Em cứ quan điểm rõ ràng. Đầu mình dùng.
Không phải nhưng mà thuê đấy kiếm mà, đúng không?
Bây giờ cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm màu và hôm nay là con mũi. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nha.
Bây giờ
Con gái quần áo lên ảnh một lần là cũ. Cái quan cứ cái khái niệm đấy mà sống. Nên là nó cũng chỉ thuê thôi.
thuê kia thì là thu người người ta.
Đúng rồi.
Sau là gì nữa? Mới đáp nữa.
Ngày qua tụi em có lên đây.
Giờ make up đơn giản cái mặt 200.000 bạn
Không, mất đơn giản có 50.000.
thế á. Bây giờ mất cái mặt 200.000.
Mà một cái lương shop ấy.
Nếu mà tôi đi làm công ty 12 tiếng thì 200.000 của tôi mỗi đầu tôi uống thuốc.
Bây giờ em đang định em chơi với chị Thanh làm móng kia, em hay chơi với chị đấy. Tên năm ngoái là bùng chị đấy không làm, chị đấy móng rồi. Hôm nay mẹ cũng định làm nhưng mà chả nghĩ chả đành. Tại vì mình cũng đang định book trên mạng, nên trên mạng có phải shop có rẻ, có dưới 50.000 nó bợ, dưới 50.000 có bợ, 30.000 nó 1.000 hàng như là ngoài quán nó phải tiện luôn, cùng sai tay luôn. Nhưng mà em nghĩ xong lên ảnh chị sẽ nhìn thấy mình cũng ngại cơ, lại cái đặt của chị đấy mà đặt em chỉ giá là những cái mẫu đơn giản, nhưng mà mẫu đơn giản nó phải gần 100, tiên tiền quá.
Hôm nữa đấy là cũng là ở xóm với em rồi.
Chị Thanh là xóm nhà cơm mà. Đúng vậy. Mọi người màu tím lên nha. Tiếp đến sẽ là màu vàng. Hôm qua em bảo em ra để đo móng thôi. Ở nhà chị ra nhưng mà em đã ra đâu. Không ngồi để xuống. Năm ngoái chị biết chị em thuyết phục em kiểu gì. Thật ngu ngốc đi làm như nào 150 của bữa em bảo hết cả tiền làm cho em tiêu tiền ghê vậy là không có đẹp tại sao lại trong sống nhưng mà chị Trà là Trà Hoàng Thanh Trà.
Trong một xong ăn đây.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Và video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ đi tô màu và những bức tranh của mình tô màu sẽ chắc chắn